To say that Khabib retired because he got rich, I think is very insensitive.
Money ruins everything. Once you get too much money involved in the fight business, if you look at Conor made so much money, and then that was it. And then Khabib made a shitload of money, and then that's it.
Khabib has told us multiple times why he retired. I don't think it's because he got rich. I think it's because his father passed away and he made a promise to his mother that he would stop fighting as a result. Conor McGregor fought multiple times. He fought Khabib, he fought Donald Cerrone, he fought Dustin Poirier twice, he was supposed to fight Michael Chandler. He didn't retire after that fight. To suggest that the money is ruining these guys when you are a guy who has profited off of that money is not something that I just want to ignore. I'm sorry. The fighters are getting paid what they are due, and more often than not, they're not. And so here's a very, very rich man worth hundreds of millions of dollars who would never say that money ruined everything for him or anything for him. I would say that he has enjoyed a pretty good life. Yeah, that's a little rich. That's hypocritical.
How much longer do you want to fight?
My opinion, it's not like records, it's not like age. My opinion, I go to the gym, and when I understand I cannot stop the people, I cannot like compete with the young guys, and I'm thinking about retirement. But right now, it's not time to talk about this.
Islam Makhachev has just dropped the most massive bombshell, and the entire MMA world is shaking right now. The pound-for-pound king, the lightweight GOAT, the man who's been unstoppable with a 15-fight winning streak. Islam Makhachev's retirement timeline has just been revealed by none other than his mentor, Khabib Nurmagomedov.
You know, Islam is actually 34 too, or going to be 34. So it isn't like he's really going to be around much longer, I don't think, you know, based on how the Dagestani guys, the mentality on Team Khabib, you know, is, and Islam having enough money to do what he wants to do the rest of his life. So let's see, you know, the challenge is more for me, it's being able to get a legacy going for him, and getting the welterweight title is a hell of a legacy to have. I'm anticipating, yes, I'm anticipating we'll see him for hopefully maybe another 3 fights total, you know. Let's see who's in the works on that. And let's say, you know, if we get by JDM, which is, you know, I don't want to really say we're going to get by him because this he's a tough customer. And, you know, I'm going to be positive in the fact that we're going to win, but it's kind of hard to overlook JDM, you know.
And if you thought Khabib's retirement in 2020 shocked the world, this might be even bigger. So here's what went down, guys. With UFC 322 just days away, where Islam Makhachev is set to challenge Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight title at the iconic Madison Square Garden, Khabib Nurmagomedov sat down and revealed something that has UFC fans absolutely stunned. Khabib stated, and I quote, "My honest opinion, 1.5, 2 years, because age is going to be October, 34, nobody's going to be the same when time comes."
Islam, maybe my honest opinion, 1.5, 2 years, because age is gonna be October 34. Nobody gonna be same. When time come, they don't ask what's your name. Of course, I finished when I was 32. I don't even begin. It was, I have this situation in my life, that's why. But when you become 35, you have to start doing this, because leave this sport for young guys. Because when you become 35 and you don't finish, somebody gonna finish you. Why? It's better to finish. Why? After 35, you're never gonna be same. Like people can talk whatever they want. When you pass your prime, you're gonna fight only for money. Like Allah give you 7 years, for example. You finish 40. And last 5 years, you was fight only for money, but they knock you out 10 times. For what? Go and work Uber driver. It's much better to be sit inside the cage.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Khabib didn't stop there. He went on to say something that should send chills down every fighter's spine. When you become 35, you need to stop doing this, because leave this sport for young guys. When you become 35 and you don't finish, somebody is going to finish you.
Of course, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here. If I'm gonna be alive, I'm gonna be here for Usman, Umar, Abu Bakr, Zuba, Islam, like Tagir, like all of these guys, I think maybe like 34 Islam can finish.
Islam Makhachev will retire at 34. Khabib full video. This is coming from a man who walked away undefeated at 29-0, who retired at just 32 years old after submitting Justin Gaethje. Khabib knows what he's talking about when it comes to retirement timing. And now he's making sure his protege, his brother, his training partner, Islam Makhachev, doesn't make the mistake of overstaying his welcome in the octagon.
How long do you see yourself in the UFC and like your plan after?
In UFC, I have one goal. I don't want to leave the UFC without second belt. And after, what I'm gonna do is family, friends, because last 10 years I travel a lot, you know, my kids, my friend, my family, even not see me, you know, that's why I have to spend more time in.
But before we talk about the end, let's talk about what's happening this weekend at UFC 322. Islam Makhachev isn't just fighting for another belt. He's fighting for history. He's fighting to step out of Khabib's shadow once and for all. Think about that resume for a second. Dominant wins over Dan Hooker, Charles Oliveira, Alexander Volkanovski, Dustin Poirier. 4 title defenses at lightweight, the most in division history. He vacated his lightweight belt to move up and conquer a second division. Islam himself called this the biggest fight of my life, and he's not wrong. But here's the bittersweet part. If Khabib's timeline is accurate, we might only get to see Islam defend that welterweight belt a few times before he hangs up the gloves forever. Jack Della Maddalena, the Australian assassin who's unbeaten in 18 straight fights, plans to spoil this historic moment. He's confident he can break Islam and blow the roof off Madison Square Garden.
Shocking news that I did not expect to see on my timeline on Twitter today is Islam Makhachev announcing his retirement.
How much longer do you want to fight?
My opinion, it's not like records, it's not like age. My opinion, I go to the gym, and when I understand I cannot stop the people, I cannot like compete with the young guys, and I'm thinking about it. But right now, it's not time to talk about this.
But if Islam wins, the clock starts ticking on one of the greatest careers in MMA history. Wait, there's more! As if Islam's retirement news wasn't enough to process, Khabib Nurmagomedov just revealed he's planning his second retirement. Yes, you heard that right. The Eagle, who retired from fighting in 2020, has now announced he's going to retire from coaching.
Can you just clarify, like, did they make you give up the lightweight title?
The Gainer Shahuna and everybody?
Yeah, like the
Of
UFC.
course, this is the dream, man. This is the dream for the all champions. Like we know many champions, but not is the from them like double. You know,
Yeah.
that's why everybody want to be double champ. Everybody want to be UFC champ, but we don't have many people who have 2 belts. That's why
Yeah.
I want to be one of them, you know.
Yeah. It seems like they don't want to do that too much anymore, right? Like Ilya had to give up his belt, you gave up your belt.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
yeah.
Because, you know, I want to hold my belt from the lightweight, but it's not possible because I fight in January and we wait. If I fight with Maddalena, when it's gonna be October, November, and fight again February, Ramadan is beginning. Holding more than 1 year's lightweight belt, it's not what I want to do, you know.
Yeah.
And
Not fair to the division.
yeah. And it's not respect for all these guys, you know.
Speaking at the Miftah Institute in Chicago, Khabib revealed, "My priorities are Usman, Umar, and Islam. These guys are my main priority, and when they're finished, I'm going to finish too." When these 3 legendary Dagestani fighters call it a career, Khabib walks away from coaching entirely. This means we're potentially watching the final chapter of the most dominant camp in MMA history. The legacy that Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov built, that Khabib continued, is approaching its end. The Dagestan dynasty that has dominated the lightweight division for over a decade, it won't last forever.
Ну, я думаю, что как минимум 5 надо, может быть даже 6. Вообще 6 защит было бы вообще идеально. 6 защит это 6 боев, 3 года. Потом уже и спорт может человека покинуть, потому что не каждый человек может быть на пике. Не то, что не каждый, вообще никто не может долго оставаться в одном состоянии. Человеческая натура так, Всевышний создал человека, что он становится сильным, потом слабым. Он рождается, он сперва молодой, потом он старый. Мы все это понимаем, и я думаю, что
Now, here's where things get a bit messy, guys. There's been some serious confusion about Islam's lightweight title situation. Was he stripped? Did he vacate? Even fans are saying they're still unclear about what actually happened. And this has led to some frustration. One fan put it perfectly. Very disappointed to see how UFC treated Islam Makhachev, PFP #1, dominant champion in toughest division.
Alex, you're looking great. Who do you want to fight next?
John Jones, watch your house. Sherma.
John, what do you have to say about that?
In the summer of 2026, America turns 250 years old, and I couldn't be more proud to call myself an American. I love this country, the people, the promise, the fight. This nation was built on courage and conflict, on belief that we can take on the biggest, the boldest, and come out victorious. That's how I've lived my life. I can't help but think, what a better way to celebrate America's fight than for its best fighter to put it on full display. To remind the world who we are, not just a country of words, but of warriors. Maybe somewhere iconic, or maybe on a certain someone's lawn. All I know is I'm fueled up, fired up, and ready. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the fighters who carry its spirit.
Alex Pereira has just dropped a massive bombshell that has the entire MMA world in absolute chaos. The light heavyweight champion stood in front of one of the most historic locations on earth and delivered a message that Jon Jones and the entire UFC roster cannot ignore. According to multiple sources close to the situation, both Alex Pereira and Jon Jones have delivered a clear message to UFC CEO Dana White. Make this fight happen, or we're out. If both of these superstars walk away from the UFC, that's not just bad for business, that's a catastrophic loss for the entire organization and the sport of MMA. But here's what makes this even more intense. Dana White has been publicly hesitant about booking Jones for the White House event. Citing those infamous trust issues we mentioned, he's worried about Jones pulling out due to injury or other circumstances, which has happened before with major events.
It's not even about him winning the belt. You know how I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong, especially the White House card.
But now Pereira and Jones are flipping the script. They're saying, we both want this fight. We're both willing to show up. The only question is, are you willing to make it happen, Dana?
Hey, brother.
This is the kind of pressure we rarely see fighters put on the UFC. Usually, it's the promotion holding all the cards. But when you have two legends, two champions, two massive pay-per-view draws all saying the same thing, that changes the game completely. Picture this: Alex Poitin Pereira, fresh off reclaiming his UFC light heavyweight championship at UFC 320 with a devastating knockout of Magomed Ankalaev, standing in front of the legendary Colosseum in Rome, Italy. The Brazilian champion shadowboxes in front of this ancient arena where gladiators once fought to the death, and then delivers one of the most powerful three-sentence callouts in recent MMA history. Jon Jones, White House, Chama. The timing couldn't be more perfect or more symbolic. Here's Pereira, standing at the Colosseum, a venue that represents the ultimate test of combat and glory, calling out arguably the greatest fighter in UFC history for a showdown at what could be the UFC's most prestigious event ever, the White House card. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Jon Jones didn't leave Pereira hanging, and he certainly didn't back down from the challenge to Dana White either. And get this, Jones has been equally vocal about wanting this fight for months. In a recent appearance on the No Scripts podcast, Jones said, and I quote, "I'd like to fight Alex Pereira at the White House. I feel like he's incredibly respectful. I feel like he's a household name in America and in MMA. Everybody knows who he is. He's a champion. He's in the conversation of being one of the greatest fighters of all time. It would be a blockbuster event. I think the whole world would come out."
I'm at a place now where, like I want to take what I find to be super fights. I don't want to fight dangerous up-and-comers anymore. I want to fight dangerous, established champions. So Tom can have the heavyweight championship. I don't really care about it. That my value doesn't lie in belts anymore. I've created something much bigger. I want Pereira.
The UFC is planning its first ever event at the White House, tentatively scheduled for June 2025, though some sources say it could be pushed to 2026. This isn't just another fight card, folks. This is the UFC celebrating the sport's global reach on the grandest stage imaginable. UFC CEO Dana White has confirmed that logistics and venue renderings are underway. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. White has publicly stated he has trust issues with Jon Jones when it comes to headlining such a massive card.
Jon Jones, since, retiring and then coming back, has made it clear, I want to do this. And he sent me a text apologizing and all that stuff. But I need people that I can seriously rely on for this one.
White said he needs fighters he can count on, which is a not-so-subtle reference to Jones's history of withdrawals and various controversies that have derailed major events in the past. Chael Sonnen, the always outspoken MMA analyst, even called out Dana White for what he described as a small move, saying White shouldn't let personal trust issues get in the way of making the fight that fans deserve.
The idea of Pereira and Jon Jones is almost impossible to look away from. If we added the caveat by Jon Jones, I'm going to do the fight, but I'm coming to 205. You are putting that belt up. There would be nobody that would say, oh, you're scared and you didn't want to fight Aspinall. None of that would happen. And they can do it at roughly 235 pounds, which is what they both weigh, or they could come down, make it a title fight. All of a sudden, you're stealing back a main event at the White House.
Here's the situation. Jon Jones officially retired this summer after defeating Stipe Miocic. Vacating the heavyweight title, Tom Aspinall, who was the interim champion, was promoted to undisputed heavyweight champion. But here's what has fans frustrated. Jones never defended his title against Aspinall, despite the Brit being the clear #1 contender. Many fans and analysts believe Aspinall deserved that shot before Jones retired. So if Jones comes out of retirement to fight Pereira, this fight would not be for the heavyweight championship. It would be a super fight, a legacy fight, but no belt would be on the line.
Donald Trump mentioned that he wanted to have a fight at the White House Garden. That just seems like such a huge opportunity. I'm a very proud American. I have a lot of close friends that are in the military. To be able to entertain the country and the world at this level at the White House, it just means the world to me. So I'm back.
And with their reported ultimatum to Dana White, they're making it crystal clear. This fight is happening one way or another, whether it's in the UFC or potentially somewhere else. This fight represents a true clash of eras and styles. You have Pereira, the knockout artist who built his legacy in record time, becoming a two-division champion with some of the most memorable finishes in recent UFC history. And you have Jones, the cerebral master tactician who has dominated the light heavyweight division for over a decade and seamlessly transitioned to heavyweight stylistically. This is fascinating. Pereira's kickboxing pedigree versus Jones's MMA wrestling and grappling base. Power versus technique. The new generation versus the established legend. The new generation versus the established legend Chael Sonnen said it best. All of a sudden, you don't have a weight discrepancy. You don't even have an age discrepancy. There's nowhere you can turn and go, that doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense.
Do you watch a lot of UFC still?
I love it. I mean, that's my
that's
my
our favorite too.
Sportive kind of choice.
Who would you love to see on the White House card?
Oof. I mean, John Jones has to fight.
You think he'll be on it?
I would love to see him. You know, it's funny. He put up a tweet the other day. It's like, I don't know, a month ago, where he had like one spot left on his wall. He had all the title, so, you know, because he's right, and then he had one spot left, and he took a picture of it. So I feel like he has one left in him. And man, if there's ever one that you're going to do, it's the White House.
It would be a blockbuster event. I think the whole world would come out.
There's a big card you keep talking about that you want to be on, a White House card, right?
Yeah, dude.
Who do you want for that? You want Pereira?
I'd like to fight Alex Pereira at the White House. I feel like he's incredibly respectful. I feel like he's a household name in America and MMA. Everybody knows who he is. He's a champion. He's in the conversation of being one of the greatest fighters of all time. It would be a blockbuster event. I think the whole world would come out. I've beat many Brazilians over the course of my life. Either way that fight were to go, no one loses in that fight. It generates so many millions for the sport. There's just no losing when you have such high level people competing who respect each other.
When you talk about the White House and having the greatest American fighter of all time, I mean, how can you have a White House card without literally the GOAT?
What if I told you John Jones is officially fighting at the White House? Yes, you heard that right. Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, just dropped a massive bombshell in his recent interview with the Full Send podcast, revealing some of the fights that could happen at the historic UFC White House event. And as if that wasn't enough, John Jones himself confirmed that his potential opponent will be none other than UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira.
No introduction needed. The baddest man on the planet. We have the John Jones here in honor. The big card you keep talking about that you want to be on, a White House card, right?
Yeah, dude.
Who do you want for that? What you saw in his fight with Gane, I mean, because Gane looked like he was controlling the fight. No doubt that you are his favorite fighter of all.
Yeah, probably the reason why he has a bald head. Tom's a great athlete. But I do feel like he's a one-trick pony.
Does the perfect story end with the White House fight and riding off into the sunset? Let's have some fun.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
It's been a long time coming to me and you going out too, so let's do it.
Thanks, G.
Let's go, Habibi.
That's right. MMA fans. The legendary John Jones could be stepping back into the octagon for one of the most high-profile fights in UFC history, and the stage, the White House lawn. Eric Trump is adding some serious political weight to the UFC rumor mill. Speaking on the Full Send podcast, he said, I mean, John Jones has to fight there. He has to. I would love to see him compete in the event. I feel like he has one left in him. And man, if there's ever one you're gonna do, it's the White House. I think you're gonna see Conor McGregor at that one.
They're still friends to this day. And
Do you watch a lot of UFC still?
I love it. I mean, that's my
that's
my
our favorite too.
Sportive kind of choice.
Who would you love to see on the White House card?
Oof. I mean, John Jones has to fight.
You think he'll be on it?
I would love to see him. You know, it's funny. He put up a tweet the other day. It's like, I don't know, a month ago, where he had like one spot left on his wall. He had all the title, so, you know, because he's right, and then he had one spot left, and he took a picture of it. So I feel like he has one left in him. And man, if there's ever one that you're going to do, it's the White House. I mean, I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see McGregor at that one. I've gotten to know McGregor pretty well, and he's a great guy. I mean, there's so much talent in there right now. I mean,
Dana gained a lot of leverage off when the White House thing got announced because McGregor was kind of MIA.
Yeah.
Jones was retired, and then all of a sudden, White House.
Oh wait,
everybody wants
this will be the greatest performance of all time. You know, I mean,
the renderings look
insane.
Insane. Like that's going to be the craziest sporting event of all time.
My father's birthday, which is Flag Day.
On the day?
Yeah, which is Flag Day at the White House on the South Lawn on America's 250th birthday. I mean, how
Eric didn't stop there. He also teased other potential fighters, saying he wants a great American card featuring top UFC stars, including Bo Nickel and Conor McGregor. McGregor, who hasn't fought since his defeat to Dustin Poirier in 2021, could make a dramatic comeback alongside John Jones. This endorsement from a political figure adds a huge twist to the story. And it's not just a casual suggestion. With the White House event set to coincide with America's 250th birthday, the stakes could not be higher.
The White House That was the thumbnail. That is the headline. That is what's happening.
It would be a blockbuster event. I think the whole world would come out.
We're talking about Eric Trump, by the way, not the big man himself, not big Donald J. Trump. No, but he probably does.
I mean, John Jones has to fight.
You think he'll be on it?
I mean, I think you're going to see. I feel like he has one left in him.
As we know, the White House card is going down next year, okay? And it's going to be a phenomenal event. And as Eric Trump says in this video via the Full Send podcast, it's probably going to be one of the most watched sporting spectacles of all time.
I think this could be one of the most tuned into sporting events ever. Like, you know, I'd love to see it push Super Bowl numbers, right?
John Jones wants on. Trump wants Jones on it. Will he be on? We don't know. Dana said that, listen, you know, he's let him down before, and they only want people that are absolutely dependable.
You know, I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Which I get. You can't have people jumping on and jumping off a card like the White House. You can't have the president of the United States and the whole world watching and waiting for one of the most sensational fight cards of all time, which is what Dana's promised, by the way, and I'm sure it will be.
It's the Sphere on steroids. I mean, it's going to be a one-of-one event. There'll be nothing like it ever again.
Now, let's talk about John Jones's target for this comeback. The UFC legend has his sights set on Alex Pereira, the Brazilian powerhouse currently reigning as light heavyweight champion. On the No Scripts podcast, Jones explained why he wants this fight, saying, "It would be a blockbuster event. I think the whole world would come out. I'd like to fight Alex Pereira at the White House. I feel like he's incredibly respectful. He's a household name in America and in MMA. Everybody knows who he is. He's the champion. He's in the conversation as one of the greatest of all time. Either way that fight was to go, no one loses in that fight. It generates so many millions for the sport. There's no losing when you have such high-level people competing."
It would be a blockbuster event. I think the whole world would come out.
There's a big card you keep talking about that you want to be on, a White House card, right?
Yeah, dude.
Who do you want for that? You want Pereira?
I'd like to fight Alex Pereira at the White House. I feel like he's incredibly respectful. I feel like he's a household name in America and MMA. Everybody knows who he is. He's a champion. He's in the conversation of being one of the greatest fighters of all time. It would be a blockbuster event. I think the whole world would come out. I've beat many Brazilians over the course of my life. Either way that fight were to go, no one loses in that fight. It generates so many millions for the sport. There's just no losing when you have such high level people competing who respect each other.
When you talk about the White House and having the greatest American fighter of all time, I mean, how can you have a White House card without literally the GOAT? The GOAT.
I'm at a place now where, you know, like I want to take what I find to be super fights. I don't want to fight dangerous up-and-comers anymore. I want to fight dangerous, established champions. So Tom can have the heavyweight championship. I don't really care about it. That my value doesn't lie in belts anymore. I've created something much bigger. I want Pereira.
Jones and Pereira represent two of the greatest UFC talents of their generation. A fight between them could generate global attention and massive pay-per-view numbers. And the White House as a backdrop? That's not just historic, it's unprecedented.
We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little... We're not. Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. We're going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal, too.
Let's set the stage for you. The UFC White House event is tentatively scheduled for June 14th, 2026, and it promises to be more than just a fight night. According to Variety, political dignitaries from around the world will attend a formal dinner, followed by front-row seats to watch the action in the octagon. UFC President Dana White and President Donald Trump are spearheading the event, creating a spectacle that blends politics, entertainment, and sports. Despite the hype, there's still uncertainty. Dana White has expressed reluctance to put John Jones on the card. Following Jones's refusal to fight Tom Aspinall, White said, "I already said I don't trust him, and you're asking me, what could he do for me to trust him in the next 3 months? You don't trust him. I haven't talked to him at all. I would not bet on it. If I have to make odds, it's 1,000,000,000 to 1 I put John Jones on the White House card."
And John Jones says he wants to be on there too, and he says he would fight whoever the champion is at that time. But would you be okay with him coming back and potentially winning that belt again? And you might have to go through.
Well, it's not even about him winning the belt. I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong. Yeah, especially the White House card.
You said John Jones called you.
Well, it wasn't a conversation. He reached out to me and apologized, saying, listen, sorry how this all played out or whatever. I want to fight at the White House. I'm serious about that.
Has that changed your view?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
So there's no chance he's going to
No,
be.
I appreciate him reaching out and doing that, but I need people I can count on for this fight, and I know who they are.
So while political and fan support is backing Jones, the final call rests with the UFC, and White has made it clear, trust is the major hurdle. John Jones is widely regarded as one of the greatest fighters in UFC history, holding championship titles in 2 divisions. But his career has been as controversial as it is successful. From legal troubles to unexpected retirements, Jones has a long history of unpredictability. Yet, despite all that, the talent and star power he brings to the octagon is undeniable. Jones has faced 6 Brazilian fighters during his UFC tenure, including a brutal knockout of Shogun Rua, a submission victory over Lyoto Machida, and a decision win against Glover Teixeira, who is Alex Pereira's coach.
Hey, John, what do you think about that first match?
That was awesome. It was awesome. It's different. I think this sport's really going to blow up. We got boxing with spinning elbows and spinning fists, elbows. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited to be here.
Let's go. John Jones.
Dana White just dropped the most shocking statement about John Jones, and the UFC world is absolutely exploding right now. So, I already said that I don't trust him, and you're asking me what could he do for me to trust him in the next 3 months? You don't trust him?
So I already said that I don't trust him, and you're asking me what could he do for me to trust him in the next 3 months? You don't trust him.
That's right. The UFC president just publicly declared he doesn't trust John Jones anymore. And what came next? John Jones fired back on Twitter with a message that has everyone talking. This isn't just another fighter-promoter dispute. This is personal. This is years of tension finally boiling over. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Dana White is ready to shut the door on the greatest fighter of all time.
John Jones says he wants to be on there too, and he says he would fight whoever the champion is at that time. But would you be okay with him coming back and potentially winning that belt again?
I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong, especially the White House card.
Let's get into it. It happened during the UFC 319 post-fight press conference in Miami on August 17, 2025. Dana White was asked about the upcoming White House event, a massive celebration for America's 250th anniversary. Everyone wanted to know, would John Jones headline this historic card? But it gets worse. When pressed further about the odds of Jones appearing on the card, Dana didn't hold back. Yeah, I would not bet on it. If I had to make odds, it's 1 billion to 1 that I put John Jones on the White House card.
I would not bet on, if I had to make odds, it's 1 billion to 1 that I put John Jones on the White House card.
1 billion to 1. Let that sink in. That's not probably not. That's not we'll see. That's Dana White saying there's a better chance of winning the lottery 3 times in a row than John Jones headlining the biggest UFC event in history. This came just months after Jones's shocking retirement announcement in June 2025. The heavyweight champion, who was supposed to unify the belt against Tom Aspinall, suddenly walked away. Dana White stood at a press conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, looking genuinely hurt as he announced John Jones was officially retired.
Heavyweight division take the title away from him.
John Jones called us last night and retired. John Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Let's rewind to March 2025. Dana White was riding high, fresh off UFC 299, and he guaranteed the fight everyone wanted to see. John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. John Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now.
Listen, John Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now.
The confidence was evident. Behind the scenes, negotiations were progressing. Jones was allegedly set to pocket between $20 to $30 million. This was supposed to be the legacy fight. the unification bout that would cement Jones's status as the undisputed heavyweight GOAT. Reports emerged that Jones was demanding an unprecedented $30 million flat fee plus pay-per-view points. Dana viewed this as excessive. Tensions escalated. By May, White was issuing veiled threats to strip Jones of his heavyweight title. On May 21st, White's frustration exploded during a press conference. You don't just say, hey, I'm going to take a while off. Maybe I'll be back. Maybe I won't. You owe it to the fans. You owe it to that belt, unless you're going to retire.
You don't just say, hey, I'm going to take a while off. Maybe I'll be back. Maybe I won't. You owe it to the fans. You owe it to that belt, unless you're going to.
This wasn't just a negotiating tactic. Dana White was genuinely considering stripping the greatest fighter of all time of his championship.